Yeah, but when we had Quo on, I'm sure like you, Mike, but when Quo were coming on, him and Francis, we knew it would always be fun live. I was doing a show with Suzanne Dando on BBC, part of Breakfast Time, and we had the boys on. It was the day they were shooting the In the Army Now video, and they were in very boisterous moods, and I knew something was going to happen. I was just doing my final bit to camera, and Rick puts his leg and his foot right in front of my face, and I'm trying to read the auto cue. So I then used his foot as a microphone, and you can just feel the glee coming from them, that they were never bad boys. They were just so mischievous, and it was wonderful. They were just great value wherever they went, you know.
And of course, they appeared on Top of the Pops more than any other band. There's a real piece of history there, isn't it? I mean, there really is, more than any other group.
How many times was it? 10, 12 or something?
What's that?
How many times was it?
Top of the Pops? Oh,
yeah.
I don't know, 60 plus, something like that.
Oh, was it?
Oh my God, yeah. Oh yeah, a lot. Yeah.
I remember doing the first one, Mike. It was, we travelled up in the van. I was at a car, I can't remember. Got up to Manchester. The first one was in Manchester. And we turned up and went through the sound check and all that, like you do, cameras. And I remember doing an interview some time ago. And this guy that I was doing the interview to on the radio, he said, "Do you remember doing the first Top of the Pops, John?" I said, "Yeah, it's Manchester." He said, "That's right." I said, "Yeah, right car, it was a right old dump, because it was a like next door. All I can remember next door to it was a bomb site, sort of hadn't been built." He said, "Oh, I know that, John." He says, "Where I live." Sorry. Yeah, we used to go up. Do you remember the Top of the Pops? It was we have a few hours to kill before you go and film it. But we used to go upstairs, but the only way you could go up there, you had to have a member of the BBC to take you up there in the lift and sign you in. I mean, you know, it was quite an amazing bar up there, and it was good fun. But this is why I think when you watch Top of the Pops now, you know, especially Rod Stewart, the faces, they're all piss running about because they've been in the bar, you know.
It was fun. I mean, that's the key. That when they phoned, they only let you know a week before that you were going to do it. They said, "You're on next week." Okay. And the biggest thing was, who's on? Because you wanted somebody to be a people on that you liked. And I remember we'd be careering up and down the King's Road with people clinging to my old car. It was fun. And we all went out afterwards and had a laugh. Now it just, a lot of the fun seems to have gone out of it. People take themselves a lot more seriously now.
Well, it's just like back in those days, the radio pluggers used to mix socially with the producers of Top of the Pops. And in fact, my late cousin Bill Fowler had a story when he was playing. There was a big thing called the B Club, where they would all go, the producers and the pluggers, and get completely wrecked. And the story was Mel Cornish, who was the producer of the day, and Bill were playing darts, and they were completely and utterly wrecked. And Mel Cornish says to Bill, "Get over 103 darts and you can put on any act you wish." And Bill was, of course, at Warner's. And Bill, who was completely arsehole, just threw 3 darts and got over 100. And Cornish says to him, "Any act you want." And Bill says, "Right," he says, "have you heard of a band called The Impressions?" And he said, "Yeah." So I got this bloke called Curtis Mayfield, and he's got this song called Move On Up. And of course, Mel Cornish had never heard of it, put it on, and it went, well, you know, Mike, top 10, I think, Move On Up. But and that was on the throw of a dart. So that's the way.
That's a real rock and roll story, isn't it? On the throw of the darts, your career changes. Steve, as you know, I've got, because I'm doing this book, I've got a Zoomer from 5 to 7.
Tell me, Mike, and who you got this Zoom call with, Mike?
It's, well, Steve Cropper's asked me to do his autobiography. So we're going through week by week the stories of Dock of the Bay, Green Onions, Knock on Wood, all that kind of stuff. So but he's a lovely, lovely guy. And we just written a song together as well. But he's a real, I mean, the stories he's got of, you know, the people he's worked with. I mean, obviously that thing of him and Booker T and Duck Dunn and Al Jackson. I mean, they were the sort of the Stax version of Wrecking Crew, really. They're extraordinary, but even so,
Go on. The Blues Brothers is my favourite movie, and I've watched him on it so many times.
It's great. He's a good lad, but I think that you can write a story, but I keep saying to write it in the first person, which I am. I said you've got to get inside somebody. I've got to know what you think. I've got to know whether you cried, whether you were upset, and that's difficult. I can get all the stories. I've got all the stories, but I want to know his feelings. You know, that's the key.
Brilliant. Well, that's a magnificent name drop, and that is well accepted. Do say to Steve, give Manic regards and tell him if he's bored one time, do come on.
Oh yeah,
now,
yeah. It's hard work though. It's not a name drop. I've got to write 100,000 words by July on that book alone. So it's hard work.
Mike Reed, bless you, and to all you and yours, bless you, and thanks for your time, mate.
Pleasure. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Mike. Clive, springing this on you, have you got a favourite joke? I know it's a daft thing to say. Have you got a favourite joke?
Do you know what? I used to be a stand-up comedian. I used to do it on and off.
Yes, but have you got a favourite joke?
This is the thing, right? I never told one joke. Maybe that's why I wasn't successful. I didn't read the brief well enough, you know. But so I can never remember jokes. And so my default setting is to go to drummer jokes. Now, I'm not going to sit here in front of the legend that is John Coghlan and tell him drummer jokes. I'm not going to make him sit through jokes like, what do you throw a drummer who's drowning his kit? I would not say that in front of John. Nor would I say the one about, how do you know if a drummer is knocking on your door? He speeds up. I'm not going to make that joke to John. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you a lead singer joke to set the balance. How many lead singers does it take to screw in a light bulb? One. He just stands there with the bulb in his hand and expects the world to rotate around him.
God, is that true or not? Is that true or not? Were you really a stand-up, Clive?
Yeah, I did. In fact, we used to do Vic Reeves' Big Night Out when it used to be at the Albany. Steve Maguire and I, when Vic used to be short of an act, he'd phone us up and say, I need 12 minutes or 8 minutes. And so Steve and I would go down the pub, start drinking heavily, and come up with some irreverent nonsense. And then the guy, Brooke, who was originally with Vic before he got rid of him when he went to the telly. So Brooke and I started a thing, and the alternative comedian, the alternative was I would go on and do 5 minutes of comedy, then he'd do 5 minutes of jazz. So the only thing alternative about it was the fact that it was me and him alternating on stage. But we did quite a few shows. We went up to York, we went up everywhere, and it usually ended up with me doing a ventriloquist act with my clothes and ending up bollock naked on the stage. But it was, yeah, I turned to music in the end. But the show, funny enough, there's bits of it in this show I've got, The Doctor Will See You Now. I've kind of brought that kind of comedy thing back in. The fact that I'm the butt of most of the jokes probably makes it the most politically correct show ever.
I've just counted, by the way. I don't normally do this. I've got some beads here on the right. I've just counted. You've said the word drink 14 times. Is there a clue there, Clive?
Have I really? Well, look, you'll notice I have this container. This is water. This is water, everybody. How, you know, I've been very good in lockdown.
Yeah, sure. What about Mr. Coghlan? John, do you have a favourite joke that it could be really corny, really horrible? Can you think of one?
There's one on my phone. I'll have to get my phone in a minute. But yeah, there's loads of them. I couldn't bloody remember. Oh, yeah. What dog doesn't bite?
Go on.
Hot dog.
God, blimey, that's bad.
That's shit, isn't it?
They wouldn't put that one in a Christmas cracker, John. Come on. If you got that in a Christmas cracker, you go and ask for your money back.
Oh.
That's awful.